Hello there, this is your friendly neighborhood Chinese man and welcome to my last Sword of Convallaria video before global release. So for this Sword of Convallaria video, we're going to talk about the top tier SR characters or the orange based characters or the 4-star characters that you guys want to look out for before you hop onto your reroll journey in this game. So one of the reasons why this game is pretty free to play friendly is because they have some really powerful SR characters that are sort of direct replacements to the UR tiers or the SSR tiers, and some of them are genuinely powerful, very easy to obtain, so it's a lot more wallet friendly and you get them really early, some even from just playing the story itself. So I'm going to cover all these characters and talk about them briefly, right? So this is from the CN side and I'll be cross-referencing to two materials while offering my own feedback on the unit usage if I do own them myself. So without further ado, let's hop onto the very first video. So there won't be any sound playing because there's some musics in the background that are copyrighted, so I have to mute it, but I'll translate what is mentioned by the author here. So let's start. Okay. Okay, so well, his video is really fast. Okay, but anyway, I kind of forgot that his video is really fast. Very straight to the point. So the number one character is this light archer over here. His Chinese name is called Shan. So if you see him in the game, right, he's from the Guardian faction, the yellow color sun symbol. And the reason why he's here is because this character is really strong in the early game with two, I'll say, damaging skills. The primary skills, which is like his starting skill, is arrow that shoots through two targets and is able to push back enemies, so you can use that to reposition enemies or even push them off the edge and then kill them immediately. So very flexible, and his attack range is really long, making him a pretty, I'll say, free to play friendly and beginner friendly character. And his element obviously is one of the strongest because there's no direct counter in terms of the different colors down there, so that's why this character generally has a really high power level, goes into the Gloriatium decently well due to the faction, as well as like very beginner friendly in terms of his skill set. So next, let's move on to the second character. Okay, so this is called Hong Shun. So this is the direct replacement for Cole. So this character is one of the strongest free-to-play assassins out there because you do get her copies from the story itself. It's from the beginner mission, one of it, where you're able to get Maisha as well as Rawiwa, so you will be able to get her duplicate shards. And on top of that, right, this character has really high mobility, being able to move up terrains pretty easily, and once she snipes a character, she's able to move away to reposition herself safely. So generally a very easily understandable character, a very beginner friendly character as well, because she's not put in harm's way because she has a way to run away after killing someone, right? So that's why she's pretty good. Very good Cole replacement in case you're not planning for Cole or in case you can't pull for Cole in your account itself. So next one, let's go into the next character. Okay, so this character also has a skill which reduces damage, so I'll showcase it in my account later, and I'll show you guys the 5-star copy of my free play account. So very easy to upgrade her, by the way. Oh, okay. So this one. Okay, so this one, her Chinese name is called Anxing. So she's a destroyer mage, same class as Barrel. So one of the reasons why she is here, or rather like why she's very OP, is because she has the ability to debuff the enemy, and she's used a lot together with Barrel due to the faction. And at the same time, right, because she's only directly countered by one faction, which is the Guardian faction, so you guys will realize that a lot of the OP units or the really strong units, they're either from the Destroyer class or the Watcher class, because these factions, they yellow counter purple, right? So purple is only countered by one faction, and yellow doesn't even have an elemental counter itself. So that's one of the reasons why she's good. And at the same time, she has a sleep debuff as well. I'm using her as well, so very good to just make somebody go to sleep, and then you just redirect your attention away from that unit and then focus on other units on manual mode. So pretty powerful character, and you need to use her for multiple bossing contents as well. So if you do see her, training her is never a waste in terms of what is mentioned in the video. So let's continue. Okay, so Angel is one of my favorite character. She's basically like a direct replacement for Samantha, or downgraded replacement for Samantha. Not as good as Inanna, but pretty powerful for a SR character. So in the event, if you're like me, if you're going for Gloria and you're going for Barrel, and then right, you don't have Inanna or you don't have other better healers, then Angel will be your best choice. So her initial skills before level 40 or level 35 itself, she has one AoE skill, one T-shaped skill that heals a lot of allies for big amount, or she has a massive single target heal, which I talked about yesterday. Very huge heal, very good for keeping your team healthy. And in the later stages, for her later stages skills itself, she has debuff removal, so in a way she's quite a comprehensive healer support for you in case you need one. And obviously if you take a look at her faction, she's another watcher unit, so yeah, she doesn't have a lot of counter, so defensively slightly stronger, right? So that's for the fourth character. So by the way, her name is Angel, 天使. Okay, so this character over here, right, is the same faction as our dear this girl over here. So same faction as Hong Zun. So I'll call her the Red Assassin. They're the same faction, though I think within this faction itself, there's actually a few team units that benefits the whole faction itself. So this character, Zhu Huo, or Zhu Huo over here, right? So this one is Zhu Huo. Okay, so this is a healer as well. She has the ability to heal as well as buff your units to take less damage. So if you don't have Angel, you can use her. So if you have Angel, then I think Angel will be the generally better healer, because for her itself, she's not like particularly focused on healing or sustain itself. And in terms of her power level, I do think that she's good based on what I read off her skill set in my TW server. But if you have Angel, right, I think you can skip her. But the thing is, if you don't have Angel, she's a pretty good replacement. So if you don't have Inanna, you don't have Samantha, and you don't have Angel, then she will be your go-to healer. Okay, so that's for the fifth one. Let's move on to the sixth. Okay, so Butterfly over here. So her name is called Hudie, Wunyang Hudie. So this is from a different faction. She's a Seeker class, by the way, so the blue color one. So this Zhu Huo over here, the previous healer, she's also from the Seeker class, so the blue color class right here. Okay, so for this one, she's also another healer. So Zhu Huo, or the previous healer, is a debuff removal, I mean defensive buffer, as well as healer. For this one, she's a healer as well as an offensive buffer. So it depends on what you really need. If you do get either of them, I think you can use them, right? If you don't have Angel. Personally, I'll just go for Angel. I think her heal amount is really big. So that's that. And let's continue. Okay, so this one I'm also using her on the TW side. So she is one of the strongest AoE attacker for the SR category. I think in fact she should be the strongest, because her passive boosts her AoE damage potential. At the same time, she has the ability to actually do multiple spins whenever she hits the enemy. So that's where she can actually spin quite a few times. In Chinese, some of them call her the red Beyblade. So she keeps on spinning and then she does a lot of damage there. So I'm going to showcase her later from my account. So she's actually quite a good damage dealer for the AoE side. If you have some issues in terms of clearing like maps with multiple mobs or too many units itself. Okay, so these are the two characters which are Tinging. So this one, I think Tinging is not the SSR tier, it's actually the tier below. So this is called the 法皇国剑盾兵, and this is called the 法皇国兵术士. So this is the ice mage, this is the shielder or paladin over here. So let's see what the author has to say. Okay, so he did mention like why you want to train them up, but he mentioned that in specific cases you can actually use them for certain stages within the game itself. And looking at their faction itself, yeah, without a doubt, watcher over here. So yeah, generally the watcher element is the strongest, or the water fraction is the strongest. They basically, like, because they don't have any like elemental counter itself, they don't take more damage from most other units. So yeah, I think I can see why there's a possibility we can use them. I'll probably try them on my free-to-play global account because I probably want to try out new stuff that I haven't tried before. So that's that for this one. Let's continue. Now, being the friendly neighborhood Chinese man that I am, I'm going to refer to another CN source which talks about some of these recommended SRs, but in an infographic form, so it's easier to show you guys and let you guys see what is mentioned by other players. So right here we have the Assassin Lady over here. So this is a top 5 list, so only 5 units. So Assassin Lady over here, Cold replacement, very good to start off the game with. Very beginner friendly, very easy to max out, and very flexible for your PvE content itself. So if you don't have Cold, definitely go for her. Her skill is actually increased damage in terms of attacking the enemies from the front or the back, and when she kills them, right, she's able to move again. So very easy to reposition her. And the next one we have Anxing, so 先手 debuff as well as 光环. So very powerful character from the debuff perspective, can be used in terms of PV pushing as well as bossing contents. And on top of that, right, her talent, her trait, or her ability itself is even more debuff. So that's why you can see why she's an excellent bosser, because she has multiple ways to debuff the enemy from the early game to the late game as you get her to the higher levels itself. So very powerful character. Next, we have obviously the Light Archer. So right here, they mention 无 CD 击退暴击光环. So 无 CD 击退 means there's no CD to the second skill, which is the skill that can push the enemy back while dealing damage to them. That skill is instantly powerful. There's no CD to the skill, but there's an energy cost. So unless you have energy support for him, there's technically a CD because you need to attack, right? Use the skill, charge up the attack again to charge up the energy, and then you can use the skill again. So that's one thing to take note of. And this character has some like a crit buff to himself, so massive damage for Archer with excellent range. So right here, this is the ability. So 个性增伤远距离无 CD 击退超级好用. Okay, so very powerful character over here. And fourth character, so this is Angel. Not gonna talk too much. I use her a lot. I have been praising her a lot. Wow, the best healer. I would say even better than Samantha, considering her cost to get her to 5-star, because mine is currently at 3-star and I'm a completely free-to-play player on TW server. So yeah, not gonna talk too much about her. Very powerful character. And lastly, we have 风暴神符, which is the red Beyblade. So her ability is AoE massive damage, right? Within the same turn when she's using her AoE skill, she's able to spin multiple times to do even more damage. So very useful no matter which stage as well as which environment, because even if you don't have multiple enemies, the additional spin is basically additional DPS. So she also makes for a pretty decent DPS with some inbuilt survivability, right? As well as mobility itself. So very good character. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this CN reference, or the top tier recommended SR characters that you guys want to look out for on global release itself. So I'll probably work on my very own on a global release if there's any, like, I'll say significant changes in terms of like skill numbers, or even like just in general, if there's better units that other people discover along the way on global itself. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and do remember to like and subscribe to see more Sword of Convallaria video from this channel, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.